from NBC News. Take a look. Former child star Rory Sykes dies in California wildfires as mom tried to save him. This is a hard story to read. Former child star Rory Sykes, who was born blind and had cerebral palsy, died Wednesday in the wildfires after his mother said she was unable to save him from their home. See, the story is her arm was broken and she couldn't get the cinders off the building. She could not carry him out of the building and he was having trouble walking. He didn't want to leave. He was struggling. So she went to the fire department, asked them for help. He said, "Mom, leave me." No mom could leave their kid. Shelley Sykes told Australian outlet 10 News she has a broken arm and could not lift or move her son. Shelley Sykes said she drove to the local fire department for help, but they told her they did not have any water. She said when the fire department brought her back, Rory's cottage was burnt to the ground. You understand the implications about what happened to Rory. He was trapped. The mother couldn't lift him, and he died in that fire. And now I want you to watch this video from Larson. She's I believe, the head of diversity for the LA Fire Department. I'm sorry, let me get the audio.
Response to your house, you want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Rory Sykes did not get himself in the wrong place.
They released that.
Rory Sykes did not put himself in the wrong place, you psychopathic monster. The requirement for the fire department is to be able to lift those who cannot lift themselves to save them from burning buildings. It's no one's fault. I don't care if you dropped a cigarette and your house started on fire. I don't care if you put a teddy bear next to a bunch of candles and your house started on fire. We will save you. And in this instance, a man with cerebral palsy who was blind and whose mother desperately tried to carry him out of a building she was terrified would burn down, was unable to do so, but he got himself in the wrong place. These are the people they hire. They're disgusting monsters that would leave you to burn to death so long as they get a salary to push their crackpot religion. That's why I despise these people. I hope that's clear. Look, that man has died because they are so insistent on hiring a DEI fire diversity officer who has the nerve to say, if you are stuck in a fire, you got yourself in the wrong place. Tell that to the disabled man with cerebral palsy. It's his fault. That's what they said. Screw these people, dude.
Miranda Devine had some, and it's not directly related to this, but it's related to DEI. She had this huge piece last year about the FBI. And kind of similar situation. We're talking about, people who are supposed to be first responders, that type of thing. And she had these whistleblowers coming through in FBI recruitment and who were actual recruiters and trainers in Quantico. And they were talking about how in the DEI policies that if somebody was considered a DEI candidate, they weren't allowed to fail them. Even if they didn't pass the physical test, and again, this is FBI, but you could see these policies everywhere. That's what we're talking about. And so if you couldn't pass the physical test, even if you were 50 pounds overweight, even if you were illiterate and couldn't write a basic report, even if you couldn't pass the obviously intellectual and investigative tests, you were all pushed forward. And they would try to fail people and they would come back and say, oh no, this person, you can't fail someone of this gender because we need to meet this quota, or you can't fail someone of this sexual orientation, or you can't fail them because it's a minority and it's a female. So, and it was all headquarters and it was all Chris Wray and was pushing this down. And this crap, it's literally getting people killed.
This is the culmination,
burned alive.
It's the culmination of the pandemic of incompetence, because it's the DEI stuff, it's the empty reservoirs, it's all these bad policies coming to a head and killing people.
Whether it was, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, well, I don't know if it was 2024 to 2023, but there were a lot of people that were talking about the idea of a crisis of competence was coming. Mm-hmm. That there was talk about a lot of talk about airplanes, like there was airports that were near misses, and they were talking about these things. This is going to lead to some kind of accident.
The train crash.
There's a crisis of competence coming. Yep. This is the manifestation of crisis of competence. Yep. This is what happens when you have people in positions that they don't deserve to be in. And when I say deserve, I don't mean deserve as in have the right colored skin or whatever. I mean they don't have the qualifications, and they put a person in to fill a slot believing that everybody is the same. People are not all the same. Mm-hmm. different people have different skills and different abilities, and those skills and abilities matter in the real world. We live in the real world. These people don't believe that there is a real world. They believe that they can speak reality.
They're trying to rewrite the real world.
They believe they can speak reality into existence, and you cannot.
You also get an idea of it's like atheists trying to create heaven here in utopia here on Earth.
Yeah, they're doing the opposite of that.
Indeed.
When you said the crisis of competency was coming, yeah, you are correct. I remember with the airplanes, Charlie Kirk was smeared as a racist for saying he was concerned about DEI hiring.
I was on that show with him.
Absolutely stupid. His point was not about the race of the individual, about the hiring practices of liberals.
Yes, obviously.
At the time, when people were saying diversity hiring is going to cause a plane to fall out of the sky, how could anyone have predicted that diversity measures would burn down Los Angeles? Yet here we are. Yahoo News, picking up from Salon, quote, DEI is deadly. Fox News spin on California wildfires exposes MAGA's total incoherence, because we are criticizing the fact.
So it's Jesse Waters' fault.
It is. So we criticize the fact that these people are incapable of doing their jobs to the point where LA's got a fire chief saying, your husband got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire. Yeah, okay. This is a problem of culture, and it's a problem of hiring people who are bad at their jobs or unwilling to do them for the sake of hiring a person who is a certain race or sexual orientation.
It's also getting
or sexual fetish now, which is a really weird thing, by the way, but it's happening.
What it comes down to as well is in terms of the predictive groups or the protected groups and the classes, it's not even all that different from what you saw in the Soviet Union, because it's all predicated on this idea that everyone can be equal.
Stalin had a DEI program.
Yeah.
They had programs that were intended to put people into positions not based on skill, but based on having the right.
How'd that work out?
So did Chairman Mao.
Clearly not. Yeah,
Chairman Mao had the same thing. And if you were a serf, if you were a petty landowner, if you're a petty landowner, you were killed or struggle sessioned away. If you were a serf, if you were a peasant, you would be like put in charge of a factory, and it all ground into the dirt. And so, of course, the real question though is. Is it just incompetence at the base level, or is it, as I would argue in this clip right here, and I wrote a whole book about this and got smeared and attacked and everything, is it on some level they view you as the problem if you are the right target group? If you this is the Luigi Maggioni situation where this guy is an affluent white male and therefore he needs to go down because Luigi Maggioni had picked a different target, had picked someone who was potentially in one of these protected classes. Guess what? There'd be no fandom.
That'd be really weird, right? If, like the healthcare CEO was some black dude.
Yeah. See what I'm saying? All of a sudden it all falls apart. Then nobody loves him.
They'd call him a white supremacist.
They call him a white supremacist. They'd say he's
lynching
racist,
successful minorities.
Lynching. It would be totally flipped, and they'd be all against him. Meanwhile, because he picked a white straight male, then suddenly he goes after this. Which she kind of talks about that. You couldn't carry my husband. It's a guy. You notice that?
Of course,
she picks a guy. You couldn't carry my husband. What? Because the guy had smoke inhalation.
If your husband did this, well, he's just a dumb guy, and he deserves it. He deserves to suffer and die.
Right.
Don't expect me to be able to carry him. He made dumb decisions. He got himself into a bad position, and so now he deserves to suffer.
Right. So this is what we got at in the book on humans, where we said it is not based on equality. It is not based on social justice. That is all window dressing.
Yep.
That is all just what they say. It's about resentment. It's about hatred. It's about wanting. By the way, the greenies are sitting there looking at this and say, yes, we want these human structures to burn. We want humanity to burn. We want society to fall. All these rich 1%ers, let them burn for what they've done to Mother Earth, for what they've done to Mother Gaia. We want them to suffer. They look at this and they cheer it. They want more of it. And you watch, by the way, I'm not saying that this was done, but there have been time and time again where even the FBI has put out reports saying that eco-terrorists are one of the #1 causes of forest fires. I'm not saying these ones specifically were YouTube censors or whatever, but it has been reported many, many, many times, and it's because they take on, which funny enough, we were even before the fire started, I was I've been giving my kids the Batman marathon. I was showing them the old Batman movies, like the Tim Burton, the Joel Schumacher movies, and Mask of the Phantasm, of course, the best one. And Poison Ivy's character in Batman and Robin, which we all kind of like laugh at that movie. Her character, it wants to kill all of humanity so that plants can take back the world. And it's like
Thanos.
And it's like, okay, so
he wants to kill people to save. Does he want to kill lots of people to save?
He wanted to cull half the population, so the other half would be.
It's the same motivation. Right. It's the same.
Well, here's what I say though.
Poison Ivy wants all animals dead because plants are better.
Right, and so in the 90s, that was considered like a hilarious character that we could all laugh at and make fun of, and like obviously evil, right? Whereas now it's like that position is platformed. There's money that's put behind it. George Soros and Klaus Schwab and Greta Thunberg have like massive conferences all about this, and we're talked to as if they're like, this is important and we want something like this, where it's clearly anti-human. So don't tell me for a second that there aren't people cheering this on, because there are.
Oh yeah. Clearly, there's absolutely people. I mean, there are people that think that there are too many human beings on Earth. Which the actual problem
That's what I'm talking about.
The actual problem that we're going to be facing is the fact that, that there's population collapse. There aren't enough people to replace the people that exist now.
Well, that goes country by country, because you look like Africa's having a parabolic population explosion right now.
Sure, but in Western countries,
yes.
Though.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.